Okay, we're joined on the dais by head coach Gino Auriemma and student athletes Megan Walker and Nafisa Collier. Coach, if you just want to make it an opening statement, and then we'll turn it over for questions for the student athletes. We'll dismiss them, and then questions for Coach Auriemma.
Thanks, Bern. Obviously our approach today was a little bit different than last Monday. What a big difference from, a week ago. Our defense kind of set the tone for everything that happened the rest of the game. We were really locked in right from the beginning. And that created a lot of great opportunities for us at the other end. And then these two guys just made shots, They knocked down a bunch of shots that really, that's what you have to do against South Florida. You're not going to get anything easy in the lane. They do a great job of clogging the lane up. So you got to make shots from the perimeter, and that opened everything up. And when you get the kind of game that Megan had and FISA continues to have, I like our chances. So that was pretty good today.
Questions for the student athletes? We have microphone holders.
Please, you talked about how this team needed to get off to better starts than it had recently. South Florida on Monday being an example of that. What did you guys do in this one to change that around, and how important was that?
Yeah, that's something obviously we want to do the whole year, but we know, especially now, it's postseason, and we knew we had to come out with a different mindset than especially yesterday and our past couple games. So I think we were just really focused from the beginning, and we knew that we had to handle business today.
Please raise your hand if you have a question for the student athletes.
Megan, can you talk about the defensive effort, especially on the perimeter? I think they were 1 of 15 from the outside today, and you held them to 16 baskets overall.
Today we keyed in on who were our shooters that we needed to get to. Just not letting them get open looks. We wanted to trap certain two guards, so we eliminated their three-point shot.
Any other questions? Please raise your hand.
Megan, I know you're only a sophomore, but you really seem to be taking on a lot more responsibility on the team this year. How have you kind of changed over the past year and been able to take on this new role?
I'd say, just playing hard for my teammates. And, Coach expects a lot out of me because they can't do it by themselves. So just trying to step up and be that consistent factor for our team.
Lisa, can you talk about, you guys seem to now be kind of learning how to play without Katie Lou. Have you gotten a little more comfortable with everybody in their new roles here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's obviously really hard playing without Lou. She's one of the top players in the country. So, but we have to life has to go on. We have to still be able to function without one of our best players. And I think we are starting to get into the groove of that. But hopefully, we'll have her back soon. And I thought we did a really good job, especially today, of moving the ball and kind of doing a little bit more than we were used to before.
Do you believe that this team can shoot this well consistently? I mean, if you make that effort to make the next pass or to find the open guy, it just seemed like things really worked well today. Yeah,
it's always, a contested three is always harder than a one extra pass, wide open three. And again, I thought we did a really good job of, moving the ball and finding that open person today. And that's probably, one of the reasons why they went in, because they were wide open because we were making those extra passes. But as I said yesterday, even if they're not, that's when we really have to go crash the boards and do a little bit extra. So, yeah, I hope we keep shooting this well. But if we don't, we got to make adjustments and keep fighting.
Lisa, can you talk about what it means when Megan is shooting like this? What does it do on the court? What does it open up for the rest of the team and for yourself?
Mm-hmm. It helps a lot. Like Coach said, this team really likes to pack it into the lane. So when we have people like Megan making outside shots, it forces them to come out so we can get, some more things for our bigs. And she did a really good job. It says she had 4 threes today, so it's pretty good.
Thanks, Phoebe.
So, yeah, she did really well, and it helps. It just opens everything up for us inside.
both the players. Coaches harped on and off this year about the lack of defense or, good individual defensive play from you guys. Have you found something that's working now? You said you were able to lock in defensively. Are you just playing better together?
I'd agree with that statement. We need each other because defense isn't our biggest strength. So, we just try to play as one.
Do you want me to go too? Okay. Yeah, pretty much what Megan said. We don't have a lot of great on-the-ball individual defenders, so we have to play really well as a team. And like when Liv does what she does today and yesterday, and we know she's going to be behind us having our back, that helps a lot because, like I said, we're probably going to get beat, so having her there is a really big help. And, team defense, I thought we did pretty well today.
We'll take one more question for the student athletes if there are any. Thank you, ladies. Questions for Coach Auriemma? Please raise your hand for the microphone.
Gino, what's Megan's biggest improvement from the start of the year till now?
I would say, getting used to having to work really hard and compete every night, and every day in practice. A lot of these kids, when they come out of high school, they've really had it their way pretty much for 4 years in high school, and they get here, and it's quite an adjustment, to learn how to every day, compete and get better and work at your game every day. So I think she has a much better understanding of that, and she's putting in more effort, and she's getting comfortable with where she's getting the ball. And we had her, I think she came here to Connecticut thinking that she could just stand on the perimeter and shoot jump shots, and that would be the ticket to being a really good player. And we're trying to get her to understand that you have to help us defensively, you have to help us rebounding wise, you have to get to the basket, and you have to get to the free throw line. And there's a lot of things that go into making a really, really good basketball player, and I think she's starting to see that now and starting to embrace it a little bit.
You've been worried about this team's defense all year. What did you see today that they can build on that's going to help them going forward into the NCAA tournament?
Well, South Florida is the kind of team that we can kind of figure out what they're going to do because they're very disciplined, and they really are really good at getting the shot they want, and they keep working for it, and they'll make you, go through this screen and then go around this screen and then guard that and then guard that cut, and they keep having you think, what's the next thing I got to do? What's the next thing I got to do? So that once you figure out this is what we got to do to disrupt that, we got a good handle on it. Just playing them last week really helped, obviously. We have two freshmen in the starting lineup, and I don't expect them to be able to guard anybody. And they never let me down. And then we've got Meg, who is learning how to be a decent defender. So that leaves you with Feast and Crystal. So we're trying to, little by little, piece it together and try to figure out how do we minimize, what our weaknesses are. And we're starting to find some things out. I think some things are becoming clear. It's way easier when Liv's in the game. That's for sure. We were a great defensive team when we had Stewie. So now I forgot how to coach it.
What can you say about the initiative Megan seemed to be taking, especially in the postseason? Earlier in the season, she seemed to be passing up some shots. She seems a lot more comfortable now taking those shots and kind of putting more responsibility on herself.
Yeah. I think young players sometimes, when you have two seniors like the two we have, they're sometimes just content to go along for the ride, you know, and I keep asking them all the time. I said, do you really want to win, or do you want somebody to win it for you and you just go for the parade? You know, and they just like to watch. And I think not having Lou has kind of been an awakening for a couple of our guys that, yeah, but they never were told that they couldn't do that. They just, on their own, decide, well, I'm not going to do it because I'll wait for Lou and Fisa, Crystal to make every shot, and then, you know, I'll bask in the glory. But that's not how it works. So, I mean, one byproduct of not having Lou is these couple of days, they've taken on more. No one ever said they couldn't. They just didn't. And now they have. So when we get Lou back, maybe now we've got a more complete team that teams have to worry about.
We'll take two more questions.
You said both that your freshman can't guard anybody, but also that Liv made a big difference in the game and is starting to do so more consistently. What has she changed? I don't mean mentally, but physically. What's she doing differently?
Well, the interesting thing is she's getting a lot more minutes, so she's out on the court more because I can't not have her out there. Whereas before, when we had Lou, my patience was really thin with her. And whenever she would do something really dumb, I would say, I need to take her out because I need to explain to her and show her. Well, now I don't have the luxury of doing that, so I have to leave her in there. So she's really getting an opportunity to do a lot of those things. And believe me, she still makes me shake my head sometimes, but there's a difference in our team when she's in the lane. And, I mean, I think the bench had a heart attack when she shot faked and drove it to the basket and scored and got fouled. I mean, like, we thought we were watching somebody else. And we had watch the video highlights to make sure it was Liv. But that's the kind of stuff she can do. She just chooses not to. It's infuriating.
We'll take the last question.
Coach, obviously the first half of the last game, started off slow, but the second half, you guys really got on a roll. And
right.
This entire game, you guys, were on a roll. Were you kind of surprised to see it, flip like 180 degrees today?
Well, it might have been the same way last week if we'd have made some of those shots early on in the game that we didn't make. And then, just because a team doesn't score, that's not just because you play great defense. The other guys had to miss. Sometimes you can play pretty good defense and they make them. So, there's a reason why South Florida struggled as much today. They missed. We helped, but they still missed. And I think it's easy to make shots when you're up 5. When you're down 17 and you have to make that same shot, that's not as easy a shot to make. So we put a lot of pressure on them because we made so many shots. Then every shot they took on a bigger importance. And sometimes they don't go in as easily. Hey, when you make a lot of jump shots like we did today, it makes everybody think that you played really, really great. Including them. They think they played great. So it's good. They played great. We played great defense, and we shot the ball great. Let's go eat.
Thank you, Coach.
Oh, we got a celebrity in the house. Chloe Pavlik. You good? Huh? You good? Yeah. You don't miss muffin in that league,
Well, I get
You don't miss muffin in that league. What's the question? What's up? How you been?
USF is on their way down. Again, we'll have 2 microphone holders. Please just raise your hand.
Bernie, good to see you.
We're joined on the dais now by USF head coach Jose Fernandez, student athletes Sydney Harvey and Alyssa Rader. Coach, if you just want to make an opening statement, and then we'll take questions.
I thought UConn was very, very good tonight. They played at a different pace than what we did, and they shot the ball extremely well. I'm really proud of this group and the season that we've had with all the adversity that we've gone through and playing the amount of different lineups and young guys that we've had to get us to this point. Like we said, there's some very good things about the season. We've won 18 games, 5th seed, and getting to our 6th semifinal here. Our starting lineup tonight, there wasn't one game day, one starter that was out there. So we get back home and get some rest and figure out if we're going to continue to keep playing this year. That's it. All good.
Questions?
Both Alyssa and Cindy, can you just talk about what you guys accomplished this season, given all the injuries, everything you guys went to win 18 games? I know you're disappointed with how this turned out, but how proud are you of this team, and what do you expect for the future for this program?
I think that as far as the adversity that we've faced, like Coach said, and all the ins and outs that everything came down to the season, I think being able to come together as a team, and our locker room has been great, and being able to do that and come and enjoy playing. None of us like losing. I don't know people that do like losing, but being able to come out and play and still have fun with the game has really what's kept us in this whole season.
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud of this team. We just kept on fighting, and just through all the adversity, just keep on playing for one another. And that's all you can really do.
Do you guys want to keep going if you get a postseason bid from one of these tournaments?
Absolutely. I think, Coach had mentioned to us in the locker room, it's always better to play for something. And, going into March and the other teams that extend on to April and everything, you're playing for something, and that's always better. And I think that if we get the opportunity to continue to play, it's going to make us collectively know, like, hey, we're playing for something, we want to win big. And I think that's what's driving us right now still, and we hope we get that chance.
Sydney, what was the big difference between Monday and today? Was it just missing shots? Were you guys a little tired after playing so many games in a row, or how did it change so much, especially the first quarter?
I think it's just a collection of both that. We didn't really defend that well, and they hit open shots, so, yeah.
Questions for Coach?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the chair of the All-America Committee, and she's definitely. She's proven herself to be one of the best players in the country. And that first half last night, she was really, really good. She was good today. She's just efficient. I think every year she's gotten better. Putting it down on the floor, going left, going right. Now she can extend and shoot the three, and she's just so active on the glass. So I told those guys hopefully we'll get to see them back in Tampa.
One of the things going through adversity like you have this year with the injuries, sometimes it's not really as much physical as it is mental.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think your team And we saw how they handled physically 18 wins.
Yeah.
But mentally, for them to stay strong, what does that say about them as individuals and as a group?
Well, these guys went through a really tough time. We talked about it. We lost, those 4 or 5 games by a total of 8, 9 points. You know, a lot of other teams would have folded right then and there. You know, we got incredible people in our program. You know, and I think we talk all the time. Character matters. We have great culture. Our student athletes are incredible people, and that's why we had the season that we've had. Not many teams can survive losing their best player, right? An All-American, and then we lose our starting wing that was averaging 17, and then probably, you know, a kid that would have, just like Sydney would have been on the all-freshman team, and Beatrice Jordan, you know, and then we lose Raider for 2 weeks. We lose Sydney for 10, 12 days. Pinzan's out the beginning of the year. So the amount of stuff that happened to this group, you know, the reason why we won 18 games and got here and won 2 here is because of the locker room and them. And I got a really, really good staff as well.
Pat.
Jose, can you address what was the biggest difference between Monday's game and this game? And do you think UConn is starting to learn how to play without Katie Lou, or was this more about you guys missing?
Here's the thing. I think they probably only had one day to prepare, a practice and a shoot around. He probably was off, and then only 2. But I mean, they shot the ball really, really well today. You know, and the one constant thing for us, if the ball's for any team, if you're not making shots, the one constant that you can do is you can defend and rebound. And I don't think, you know, we never gave ourselves a chance of that. Do you understand? The ball wasn't going in the basket, and you know, again, they were moving at a different pace. We didn't get multiple efforts. You know, and the ball was just moving around very, very easily. And then when we reacted to dribble penetration, either middle or baseline, and we came over to help, we weren't getting to that next pass like we usually do. So it wasn't just one thing. Again, I mean, they were the much better team today. We got beat today by a team that shot extremely well and defended us very, very well.
We'll take one more question if there are any. Thank you.
All right, guys. 50. Well, that's like what, summer here? Huh? Everybody must be excited about the ball. We'll see you guys in Tampa.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Michael, good to see you.